Hi guys, I made it through the second trimester. Just about. You'll have to excuse me for lying down on my pregnancy pillow because it is the only place I can get comfortable at the moment, and I'll explain why very shortly. So the second trimester started out really well. It was a lot better than the first trimester. Things were really good. I was back at work, I had no problems, my sickness died down. I was starting to get back to normality. And then it was a few days before Christmas, and I was just about to start my next week of work for the Christmas week. Around about midnight, technically on the day I was supposed to be at work, I started having contraction pains and thus put me in triage for the first time this pregnancy. But I have been there a few times since. And ever since then I have been in agony. Alright, let's talk about what's been happening this trimester then, shall we? Up until literally Christmas week, everything was pretty much okay. There was an odd occasion of where I had pains and bled, but nothing compared to at the beginning. But I got checked and everything was alright. But through this trimester, we found out what we were having, that we were having a girl. We picked a name and got to hear the heartbeat for the first time. I heard the heartbeat the first time when I was with my midwife. I felt it move then.
Yeah, that was a movement
Yeah.
that we heard.
When we went to our private scan to find out what we were having, Nathan heard the heartbeat then. Here we go.
Go.
Oh, it's the other way around.
1, 2, 3.
What is it?
It's
There
a
we
girl!
You're happy, ain't ya?
Yes!
Congratulations, you are having a girl.
Yes!
I tried using the Doppler thing with Nathan and on my own a couple of times, but I just couldn't find the heartbeat. And then when I used it a couple of times with my sister here, we actually managed to find it. It's the heartbeat, see? We got it! That's very fast. It's like a horse kind of thing. Maybe. Just got back from the 20-week scan. I've got to go back for another one in a couple of weeks because they couldn't find kidneys, heart measurement and the lips. I think they need to just see if there's like a cleft lip or anything. So I've got to go back on the 9th of December, day before my birthday. They said that they could see what gender it was, so I've got them to write it down because obviously Nathan couldn't come with me again. But because he's working from home now, I'm just waiting for him to come on his break and then we'll open the letter together. Hopefully it's still a girl because girl things have been bought now. You can read it out.
We should just open it and read it.
Yeah?
You've already looked at this.
I haven't.
Folded it every time. Congratulations. I have no idea what that says. This is doctor writing. It says...
Don't read it out.
You told me to read
No,
it.
I want to read it now. Just turn it round. You know what it is. Turn it round. Looks like a girl. What name do you want for the baby?
Willow.
Willow. Willow?
What about you?
Willow?
It's not a bad name.
I like Willow. Riley, what about Willow?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
Do you like Willow?
I like Willow.
Willow. Willow Carr.
And me.
Willow Sarah Simone Carr.
Oh.
And whisk.
I quite like that name. Well, I knew it was too good to be true. Things were going so well. Everything was actually going normal since all the traumatic stuff at the beginning. But I had to go up to maternity triage last week in the early hours of the morning because I started having contraction pains. I was 24 weeks pregnant at the time. I was trying to get to sleep, which takes me ages anyway. Around about midnight I started having these pains. At the start they weren't that bad. Over about an hour or so they got worse. There was no pattern to them or anything, but I've had contractions before. It felt like a contraction to me. They kept carrying on. They weren't easing off. There's no pattern to them. So by 1:30, I phoned maternity triage to see what to do, and they told me to just go in and get checked immediately. So I woke Nathan up because he was asleep. He took me up and just dropped me off because I didn't know if he was allowed in with me or not. They examined me. They did a few swabs. They took a few tests. My waters were still intact. I wasn't in labour, but they couldn't understand why I was having these pains. They said it was either due to stress, due to doing too much, or due to my scar from where I've had previous sections from Riley and Maggie healing in the wrong place. So as I'm growing, it's stretching it. They wanted to monitor me, but I just wanted to go home. At this point it was like near enough 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I just wanted to go home and go to sleep. So they just told me to take regular painkillers and to just rest as much as I could, and if it got worse, to come back. But ever since, I've been having these contraction pains on and off. They're not as frequent as they were when I went in last week, but I'm still having them. Because of these pains, it's given me it's given me such bad back pain. I can barely walk. It's that bad. So because of that, I might have to start having physiotherapy for it. I had my midwife over the phone consultation today because now they won't let anybody actually act the doctors until they're 28 weeks. I spoke to her, explained the situation to her, because obviously she doesn't know what's been going on. I haven't seen her or spoke to her. And she's told me that if it's still the same this time tomorrow, to go back to triage to get checked. I've got my glucose tolerance test in the morning. I guess once I'm done with that, depending on how I am with the pain and with walking and everything, and how her movements are, because she hasn't been moving that much today either, I'll be going back up to triage. I hope it dies down though, because I really don't want to go back to hospital. So for the last week or so, I've just been in pain. Paracetamol's not doing anything at all. I've been trying codeine, but because it makes me sick, I have to have like the smallest dose that I can have. It's just not touching it at all. We'll just see how tomorrow goes, and hopefully I don't end up in hospital again. I had my GTT done. I didn't hear anything back from them, so I'm assuming that it was okay. It's a glucose tolerance test that they do when you're about 25 weeks to see if you develop pregnancy diabetes. You have to drink this really horrible drink, and then you have to sit there for 2 hours. You have a blood test before having the drink, and you have a blood test after the 2 hours is up. They gave you like a little basket with a stopwatch in there for your 2 hours, and your blood from before, and then like a bottle for your blood to be taken afterwards. And I literally just sat there. I tried doing my little diamond painting set thing that Nathan got me for Christmas, but the chairs aren't low enough for me to lean on my legs to do it. So since those contraction pains that I had, I started getting very, very sharp pains in my hips and my back, and quite low on my front, like around my pelvis area. And ever since then, I've been getting worse. And I've been taking regular painkillers, like paracetamol and codeine, because that's all I can have. Can't have anything stronger. So I phoned triage, explained the situation to them, and they said come up and get examined. So I did. I was seen by the doctor, and she pressed around my belly and on my hips and round by my pelvis, which was excruciating. And she immediately diagnosed me with SPD, which is symphysis pubic dysfunction, which basically is the muscle around the pelvis at the very front under the womb is separating, ready for birth, basically, but it shouldn't be happening quite this soon. With the gap, it makes the pelvis unbalanced, so it's not in line with each other. She said that the only thing that can help is to take regular painkillers, which I already am, and to possibly have some physiotherapy for it. She referred me for physio that day, which was nearly 2 weeks ago. So that's my second trimester in a nutshell. Started wonderfully, ended horrifically. Here's to trimester number 3, and finally having her. All of this pain and suffering will all be worthwhile in the end. Catch you in the next one, guys. Bye.